What's going on, everybody? Chase with iDub Hockey, joined today with Matt, who's the product manager of sticks for CCM Hockey here in Montreal with your brand new CCM JetSpeed FT5 Pro line. Of course, I want to get into the crazy new tech and spec that we find throughout it that make it just the best JetSpeed yet.
Sure.
But let's talk about the flex profile and what style of player JetSpeed has been built for.
Yeah, so the flex profile on our JetSpeed line is a hybrid kick point. So it's a new flex point we introduced a couple of years back, and it's still really popular. We're getting more and more players into it, and it's really designed for a player that doesn't necessarily have a particular shot pattern or a shot location in the offensive zone. So you're looking for a player who likes to take both snapshots and wrist shots, sometimes close, sometimes further, and he's really looking for consistency and versatility from its stick. So again, having shots that are always going to go at the same spot when you're shooting. You don't need necessarily to think where you're putting your hands. The stick's gonna react the same way, and it's gonna allow you to get that kind of very good accuracy from the stick.
So with that accuracy, just a stick that can do it all from anywhere. And this year, you didn't want to change too much because that FT4 was just amazing.
It was. So the main change we did for 22 is upgrading our overall construction. So in the past, we had SigmaTex, which has been wonderful for us, but we wanted to take this to the next level. So we worked again with SigmaTex. It's the same company we're partnering with, but they came up with a new carbon that we put on the stick, which we call Sigma STP, which has been designed specifically for player sticks. And what it does for the FT5 Pro is allows us to increase the durability of the sticks while making it a little bit lighter, a little bit better balanced. So you're ultimately getting a better version of that FT4 Pro for a stick that's gonna feel better and shoot better than the predecessor would.
Which is kind of hard to believe.
Which is hard to believe, and yet here we are. So we're really excited about all of this. Obviously, you still get the R-shaped geometry on the stick. You still get the hybrid kick point as I was talking about, and you get the Skeleton Plus down there in the hosel that's gonna really help for durability, as we've seen with the FT4 Pro.
So just like how JetSpeed bridges the gap between ribcore as well as tacks, the blade feel does kind of sit in between those two from a feel perspective. So has the feel of JetSpeed changed this year, or is it a very similar, puck handling, stick handling feel that you're gonna have in the FT5 Pro than previous years?
It's similar to that FT4 Pro for sure. We're keeping a stiff blade on our JetSpeed line, which again goes really well with that consistency and that accuracy message, right? So the idea is to have a stick that's going to perform the same way every shot that you take, and having that stiff blade here combined with the hybrid kick point and how the stick's designed is really what allows us to have those kind of results from the stick.
So what's so exciting about this JetSpeed line is with these upgrades, that second price point gets a really serious upgrade too.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the FT5 now, we're talking about upgrading this stick to an overall full SigmaTex construction, and that means both on the shaft and the blade. So here again, all the benefits that were previously associated with SigmaTex are coming to the second price point for us in 2022, which means again a better balanced stick, a lighter stick, and a stick that's more durable than its predecessors.
And then so let's talk about weight too. We didn't touch about it in the FT5 Pro, but how does the 5 Pro compare to the FT5 and then compare it to the previous generation?
Yeah, so on the FT5 Pro, you're now talking about 380 grams, which is about 5 grams lighter than our FT4 Pro was. But again, thinking about that balance point is really where the big difference is gonna be. So you're getting a stick that is much better balanced than the FT4 Pro. And then when you come to second price point, we're now here at 415 grams. And which again, creates that gap versus the Pro model, but yet here, 5 grams lighter than the FT4, but again, a much better balance and better durability that are coming from that SigmaTex construction.
And even a little bit more power, since it's probably a little bit more efficient at transferring that energy than the previous generation of carbon fiber, right?
Correct, and what that new carbon, or that SigmaTex upgrade allowed us to, is to better match the flex profile that we had on the previous FT4 Pro and the Pro models in JetSpeed. So you now have a flex profile that is very similar to that Pro model. So you get pretty much the same feel when shooting, besides the weight difference that you have between those two models.
Now, these are both in your elite level category,
Correct.
And while these are the cream of the crop with all the features and benefits packed into them, there are going to be players that are looking for that competitive level play and looking for a model from the JetSpeed line that's going to suit them. So we have 3 price points here. Can you kind of walk me through the differences between them and which one might fit a different level player than another?
Absolutely. So if we go down the lineup, I mean, we have the JetSpeed Team. So this here weighs 445 grams. It's a full C6 construction, so that again provides you with great balance, great durability. Not as much as, let's say, on the Pro model, but still, you know, an upgrade over the sticks that are lower in the lineup. You're gonna have still the R-shaped geometry. You're still keeping hybrid kick points, so you're getting a lot of the essence and the feel of what JetSpeed line is, just as you were saying, more of a competitive level than a pro level or elite level.
And I really like how it has that pro look, especially with that name bar up top.
With the pro name bar, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stick that we're basing ourselves off to offer to teams and everything. So, you know, you have this full relation with the name, but essentially the best mid price point stick that we could make in JetSpeed.
And to clarify too, before we move on, can you customize the name bar on that Team stick like you can on the 5 and the 5 Pro?
No, unfortunately not on that model, not in JetSpeed in 2022. So it will always stay with that black name bar, but indeed you can on the top 2 price points there.
Very cool. So let's finish this off with the 75 and the 65. 2 great options for maybe that casual or new to competitive hockey player. You know, as far as JetSpeed specs go, do we still find that essence here?
Yes, so in the 4th price point here, you're keeping the C6 blade that we had on the Team stick, so you're keeping this relatively the same. You're keeping the hybrid kick point and the R geometry, but you're a little bit heavier here, so you're talking about 460 grams. So it's not a massive difference, so it's still a really good looking stick, a really good performing stick with a great balance, just not exactly to the point of the Team stick where it was. And then if you finish it off with the 465, so that really is kind of our entry construction. So you're here at 520 grams, and then here you get the R-shaped geometry with more of a standard approach with a painted blade, painted shaft here.
Perfect for that casual player, maybe that player just getting into the greatest game on earth, and maybe they're watching that Matthews type player and they want to try in JetSpeed. That's going to be a great option for them too.
Exactly.
Well, Matt, I got to say thank you so much for having us out here and walking us through this new JetSpeed FT5 Pro line.
Pleasure.
And for you at home, I'm going to check out all these price points. Make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.